Hi again, it's me, Crystal, and I am doing my The People Speak assignment on Mother Jones, and so I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Mary Harris was born in Cork, Ireland, 1837, and lived to be almost 100 years old, passing in 1930. Mother Mary Harris Jones, also known as Mother Jones, was a social activist and reformer for the mistreated mine and factory workers during the 1913-1914 Colorado Coalfield War, when she was already in her 80s. In the year 1914, when over 1,000 workers went on strike against the Rockefeller-owned coal mines and were residing temporarily in a tent colony, Mother Jones led and inspired them all and spoke to them, giving them much courage and support. She has been called a social warrior for the poor, or probably most famously, the miner's angel. Alternatively, she was a firecracker of a woman who would stand her ground and fight for whatever she believed, and in turn was also referred to as a hellraiser and a pain in the ass by the opposing side of this debate. She was often imprisoned and for her protests, but she never gave up, and she spent her time in prison with pride. Because Mother Jones' home and everything that she once had was completely destroyed in the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, she was once asked by a committee where her residence was, and she responded, "I live in the United States, but I don't know exactly in what place because I am always in the fight against oppression. I call home wherever there is a good scrap and I can render help to the boys." Her boys being all the young mill and factory workers. She lived among the workers, fighting for their rights, speaking out on their behalf, and feeding children in any way that she could. During this time, in Colorado, throughout the Coalfield War, fatality rates for these workers was double what they were everywhere else in the world. Children as young as 6 or 7 worked in the mines and in the factories. Men and children alike would work up to 15 hours a day, up to 6 days a week, in poor and unsafe conditions. Mother Jones absolutely couldn't stand the way that miners and factory workers were being treated, and she made it her sole purpose to be an advocate for them and speak out on their behalf, doing anything in her power to protect the children and the workers. A great injustice was being done to all of these people, and Mother Jones was not a woman who could sit back and watch as people that she loved and cared about were being treated so poorly. In fact, it didn't really even matter if she knew them personally or not. She genuinely loved and cared about everyone. She would even stick up for people she didn't know. There have been references made to her in regards to her sticking up for and protecting her children, and that really encompassed everyone. She was an elderly woman who really wanted to take care of any and everyone and looked after them as if they were her own, which is why she began being called Mother Jones by anyone who knew her. Both friend and foe alike knew her and addressed her as this. Mother Jones continued to work alongside with the miners until she passed in 1930. But she was alive long enough to actually see some of the laws change, regulating safety for the miners, and set in motion a great deal of the child labor laws. Upon her request, she was actually buried in the Union Miners Cemetery in Mount Olive, Illinois, alongside the men who died during the strikes, them who she referred to as my boys. Okay, so now I'm actually going to do the speech that Mother Jones did. And there's a narration in the beginning of this, kind of letting you know when it was that she gave the speech and under what circumstances. So, excuse me, here we go. All right. In the year 1914, 1,000 miners with wives and children who had all gone on strike against the Rockefeller-owned coal mines in southern Colorado were holding out in a tent colony near the tiny hamlet of Ludlow. One day in April, the National Guard, financed by Rockefeller, began pouring machine gun fire into the tent colony, and then came down from the hills and set fire to the tents. The next day, the bodies of 11 children and 2 women were found, suffocated and burned to death. This became known as the Ludlow Massacre. Mother Mary Jones, an 82-year-old organizer for the mine workers, had to come to Colorado to support the miners. And on the eve of their strike, as they gathered in the Opera House in Trinidad, she spoke to them. I am Mother Jones. What would the coal mines be worth if you did not work to take it out? The time is ripe for you to stand like men. I know something about strikes. I didn't go into them yesterday. I was carried 84 miles and landed in jail by a United States Marshal in the night because I was talking to a miners' meeting. The next morning I was brought to court, and the judge said to me, "Did you read my injunction? Did you understand that the injunction told you not to look at the miners?" "As long as the judge who is higher than you leaves me sight, I will look at anything I want to," said I. The old judge died soon after that, and the injunction died with him. At another time, when in the courtroom, the bailiff said to me, "When you are addressing the court, you must say, 'Your Honor.'" "I don't know whether he has any or not," said I. Someone said to me, "You don't believe in charity work, Mother." "No, I don't believe in charity. It is a vice. We need the upbuilding of justice to mankind. We don't need your charity. All we need is an opportunity to live like men and women in this country. I want you to pledge yourselves in the convention to stand as one solid army against the foes of human labor. Think of the thousands who are killed every year, and there is no redress for it. We will fight until the mines are made secure and human life valued more than props. Look things in the face. Don't fear governor. Don't fear anybody. You pay the governor. He has a right to protect you. You are the biggest part of the population in the state. You create its wealth. So I say, let the fight go on. If nobody else will keep on it, I will. Thanks. Bye.